This is the Brain, and you're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network. Yes!
This is MWIRE, Movie Week in Review. MWIRE is brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up today to get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/geekcastradio. Start today with a free 30-day trial with over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Don't forget to follow Audible on Twitter at audible_com. And now the latest and greatest in movies with MWIRE.
The game in question is No Limit Texas Hold'em. Minimum buy-in, $25,000. A game like this doesn't come together often outside the casinos. The stakes attract rich flounders, and they in turn attract the sharks. No Limit Texas Hold'em is the Cadillac of poker. Each player is dealt 2 cards face down. 5 cards are then dealt face up across the middle. These are community cards everyone can use to make the best 5-card hand. The key to the game is playing the man, not the cards.
Bet an 8 ball.
There's no other game in which fortunes can change so much from hand to hand. A brilliant player can get a strong hand cracked, go on tilt, and lose his mind along with every single chip in front of him. This is why the World Series of Poker is decided over a no-limit hold'em table. Some people, pros even, won't play no limit. They can't handle the swings. But there are others, like Doyle Brunson, who consider No Limit the only pure game left.
Hello, folks, and welcome to MWIRE Movie Week in Review here on the Geekcast Radio Network. I am your host, TFG1 Mike. Joining me once again for a second week in a row is Doug Abel. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
I am doing pretty good, actually.
Yes, and I am betting, folks, this 17-year-old film we're going to be talking about today, I guarantee you Doug hasn't seen it until right before we did this podcast.
Yes, that is true. You bet and you won. You got the flop over on me or the turn or whatever the hell it is.
Oh, there you go. Hey, you're learning. So, in this actor's heyday, in his early days, he teamed up with a future Hulk and a future X-Woman to do a movie about Texas Hold'em. And you might be wondering, what in the hell are you talking about, TFG and Mike? Well, this Good Will Hunting character was in a 1998 film called Rounders. Matt Damon, Famke Janssen, Edward Norton, Gretchen Mol, a whole bunch of other people we'll talk about here in a bit. 1998's Rounders. I really enjoy this film. I'm surprised that it only made, it made $10 million, or roughly about. The budget for the movie, according to Wikipedia, was $12 million. And according to the U.S. box office, in the U.S. alone, it made 22.9. So it made money. This is not a film, folks, that needs a sequel at all. Doesn't need a sequel. Doesn't need a remake. There are so many movies out there about poker and card playing and blackjack and all this and all that. So the Rounders was never meant to be a franchise starter at all.
It was. It seemed to me like when I watched it that it was and correct me if I'm wrong, it felt like it was just an indie film that some guys got together from a film school and kind of put together. But it was, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because it was a decent film. It was, it was well written. The actors were good. It just felt like it wasn't a big budget Warner Brothers, Disney, whatever. Pick a major studio, MGM, whatever. It didn't feel like something coming from them. It felt like something that was coming out of, the back room at Miramax, because the Weinsteins said, "Oh, we'll throw some money at this and we'll put it out there, and here we go."
Well, it's funny you mention that, because this is a Miramax film.
Jesus. It is the Weinsteins. How did I know?
And if you look at their releases, I don't know how far back. Okay, let's look at their 1990 releases, not the decade of the 90s releases for Miramax. You had stuff like The Grifters in 1990. Let's see, Mr. and Mrs. Bridge, Paris is Burning in 91, The Reflecting Skin in 91. A lot of these movies I've never heard of.
Several of the Clerks films, or excuse me, Kevin Smith films.
Several Kevin Smith films. They did Tom and Jerry the movie in 93. Okay. I don't know why, but they did The Crow in 94. Pulp Fiction, Clerks, Sirens, let's see, Queen Margot, Ready to Wear. So, from 95 on, Muriel's Wedding, The Road Killers, Gordy. Oh, God.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of interesting films, but right around the time they had Mighty Aphrodite in 96. Oh, damn. I know exactly what we're covering for my birthday next year over on Talking About My Generation, because it'll be 20 years. We've got to cover Beautiful Girls.
I've never seen it. I may have to say, okay.
On my birthday in when I was 16 years old, that movie came out. I had no idea it came out on my birthday.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. So, my point here, folks, is Miramax is, oh my God, they did Jane Eyre in 96. Train Spotting.
Yeah.
My point here is, people, that they've done a lot of, in the 90s, they did a lot of interesting films. Obviously, their biggest one was probably, one of their biggest ones was Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, that and Pulp Fiction, I'll put those up there.
Yeah, Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
This is a studio that does have a really nice legacy of different films. The same year that Rounders came out, they also had Life is Beautiful, The Mighty, let's see, Down in the Delta, Playing by Heart, Children of Heaven. Oh Lord, they did She's All That in 99. But anyway, Rounders, absolutely love this film. And this is one of those films where, for some odd reason, one of the networks was like doing a Matt Damon marathon or something, number of years ago. And I always remember watching this one. And nowadays, whenever I do, it's been a while. It's currently on Netflix. I don't know how long it'll stay there, but it's currently on Netflix. I remember I had seen this after I had seen X-Men, and I'm like, hey, that's Jean Grey.
She looked a lot better in this than she did as Jean Grey, I'll be honest.
Well, or if you really want to tie card playing and casino, underground casinos and the spy world, hey, that's Xenia Onatopp.
Yes. Yes.
Good old GoldenEye. Basically, I don't even have to look at Wikipedia, folks, IMDb, any of that. Basically, this film is about underground card playing. It's about this guy named Mike who is going to law school to become a lawyer, but he is this super genius card shark. Kind of reminds you of another super genius character Damon played a year before. But anyway.
Yeah.
He's playing to his strengths and characters, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I found it kind of funny because he's a Boston guy, and he comes in, and he's playing up, and he's talking about the Yankees and being, all that. I laughed when he walked into the one grocery store, the convenience store, and the guy asks him about he goes, hey, so what do you think of a Steinbrenner and the Yankees? You know, can Steinbrenner move them? And he goes, I don't know. We don't get to Steinbrenner until third year law.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, wow. I thought Boston people were supposed to hate the Yankees.
Well, yeah, and we do. But it's one of those things where you can't always,
Yeah.
You can't always get the writers to write in a line like Ben did in Paycheck. I mean, come on now. You can't always get
True.
the line. So, but basically, Mike is this super genius card player, or he thinks he is, and he goes into Teddy KGB's place. Teddy KGB, played by Mr. John Malkovich himself, and he thinks he's going to be able to beat the game, and he's playing the game, which is No Limit Texas Hold'em poker. And Teddy wipes the floor with him, and he lost everything. Lost his tuition, lost his, whatever he said, seed money or whatever it was. I know it was tuition and something else to do with his class that he was taking at the time. So you got Howard Cosell. I'm sorry. What the hell is his name? Mr. Agent Simmons there. Oh Christ. John Turturro.
Yeah.
Thank you. There we go. Gee. So you got John Turturro's character coming in, and Kanish, and he's one of these guys who has seen everybody, fail at their big run, at what they think is going to be their big run. So he gives them this truck job, and slowly as the film progresses, we get to a point where Mikey has to go pick up his buddy, Worm.
I don't get why he had that nickname. Just he should have been Snake, as slimy as, because that's kind of the feeling I got from him.
Yeah. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe this was the first film I had seen Edward Norton in. And we'll talk about that when we get to the casting couch and all that stuff. But, I believe this is the first one that I had ever seen him in. Like I said, could be wrong, but, so he has to go pick up Worm, and Worm, Mike knows the rules. Mike knows, there's a certain elegance to Texas Hold'em as far as what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Worm, he doesn't give a shit. He'll hustle anybody.
Yep. And he doesn't know when to stop. That's another problem.
No. Yeah, that's another one of his problems. He doesn't know when to stop. And he both of them nearly get beat to death by a bunch of cops because they try to hustle a cop game. Oh, my God.
Yeah. That was ugly. And, of course, to make matters worse is that Mike is telling him, no, just don't play it straight. Stay out of the room. If you want to play straight for 8 hours, then you go in. I'll sit here and come back and get you in 8 hours.
Yeah.
You do it, not me. And he just didn't listen. He that whole dealing off the bottom of the deck and throwing cards out and passing him good cards. Matt knew what was going on. Mike knew what was going on there, and he just was like, I don't get a good feeling about this. And yeah, they deserve to get their asses kicked for it.
Yep. So that happens, and Worm is one of these. Worm is one of these characters that he wants to, be in with the good old days. He doesn't really give a shit about his friend's new life and how his friend has changed since Worm's been in prison and whatever else. He just wants, a quick and fast buck, and, he's got to get back in the game. And
yeah.
And Mike just doesn't want that. He, eventually Worm, worms his way, I guess, and has Mike going after all these things, and Worm himself is running up a horrible, horrible tab and under Mike's name. This is not a good idea at all. I love the way the film is paced. I love the way, the scenes are. The acting is amazing from You got Martin friggin' Landau in this movie. I mean...
I looked and I kind of went, nah. This is the guy who played Bela Lugosi in Ed Wood? No. And I looked again, I'm like, holy shit, it is Martin Landau. Damn. Mm-hmm. They got some good people in this film.
Mm-hmm. They really do. I absolutely love this one.
I'm going to say my piece on it.
Go ahead.
Like I said before when we were off air, okay, anybody who's listening, don't get me wrong, the film was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's an excellent job, excellent writing, excellent, well put together. I myself had a hard time watching it. And the main reason for it is that I am not a poker fan. I never really have been. I sat down and tried to watch World Series of Poker numerous times when it was on. They had in HD or whatever, they had it on there, and I was trying to watch it and see if I could understand what was going on. I'm still lost. I don't understand the damn game. I understand that you bet. You're not betting against the cards. You're betting against the other people at the table. And that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just so Doug gets this. You understand the fact that everyone sitting at the table gets dealt 2 cards each, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know the way that Texas Hold'em goes.
Right.
But it's like, trying to understand what the better hands are. You get a jack and an ace type thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
right, yeah.
That's where I was lost.
It's pretty... The way I understand it, again, without looking anything up, because heaven forbid I type or click my mouse on a podcast... it's one of those things where the way I understood it from watching the movie and listening to Mike talk about it is every guy is dealt 2 cards. With those 2 cards, you have to make the best 5-card hand with the cards that are dealt on the table face up.
Yeah.
So it's just another way of... It's just a different way of playing 5-card draw or 5-card stud or whatever. It's just a slightly different way of playing that 5-card hand for poker.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't really care too much about, about the actual card, like the whole, like... I understood the point of, this beats that or that beats that or whatever. I mean, yeah I will admit it is a little confusing at times, but, like, the whole, I mean, if you got 2 aces in your hand and a third ace comes up and you got 2 9s there, it's like, you got aces over 9s.
You got a full house right there. You got a full house aces high. Yeah. You're looking good. I understand that.
Yeah. So, as the film progresses, as I said, Mike, gets enough money saved up and has to go to Landau's character and ask him for help, and he helps him out and gets him back in the game. And what I love is when he goes in the very beginning of the movie, and when he goes to the judges' game. I love that scene. The judge is like, the fuck what we all have. And
he's like calling it out and he hasn't even looked their heads. They're just like, well, god damn it. Sit down.
Yep. I just love that scene. And then what's even better, and they kind of set this up from the beginning, but he doesn't notice it in the beginning. With Teddy KGB, his Oreos are his tell.
Oh.
And as soon, because I haven't seen this movie in at least 5-6 years. I mean, I love the movie, but I haven't seen it in a long time. But when I watched it back, I remember, I'm like, oh yeah. As soon as Mike gets that look on his eye when he's watching him with the cookies, he's like, oh right. And in the monologue there, in the voiceover, he says, you never say anything about a guy's tell. Once you find out, that that's it. And the way I look at this movie is, it's like that either old Western stare down before you draw, or it's like Triple H and Ric Flair, nose to nose, or Triple H and Sting, to be more precise, for current WWE times. But anyway, when two WWE superstars go face to face, nose to nose, and just have that's the way I saw this film. Is it's basically a silent stare down between the players, and you're trying to figure out how are you going to beat this man at this game. And I love the line, I flopped a nut straight. I don't know why I love that line. This is just one of those lines where, and Teddy going off and off. He's like, check. He trapped me. Oh God! I'll tell you one thing, Malkovich. He's got a damn good Russian accent when he's doing his little acting job.
Oh
here.
yeah,
absolutely amazing.
I mean, I love the guy for all the stuff that he's done. He pulls it off so well, and just the fact that he was playing basically, I don't want to say crazy, because he's done crazy before so well, but he was perfect for this. Just everything about him, I'm like, the guy is scary as fuck.
Yep. It's the beard.
Yeah.
So getting into the cast here, getting into the cast here, there's some people in this cast that are just amazing actors. I mean, first of all, just going down the list, Matt Damon. I mean, Boston-bred Matt Damon.
Yeah. The guy won an Academy Award for his screenwriting skills with Ben.
Yep.
The guy, you don't win an Academy Award right off the start unless you got something going for you.
You know what his very first acting role was?
Field of Dreams?
Nope.
Okay.
He was Steamer in Mystic Pizza in '88.
Oh, good Lord.
As you said, Field of Dreams. He was also in School Ties. He was in Geronimo in '93. Courage Under Fire in '96. Chasing Amy in '97. The Rainmaker in '97. Good Will Hunting. Saving Private Ryan. Obviously, this movie. He was Loki in Dogma.
I loved him in that film. Especially when he's walking around the boardroom at movies and he's holding the gun and he's yelling at everybody, "You need to die. You need to die. You're this. You, on the other hand, you've done everything right." Just his whole attitude for that was great. I loved him.
I completely missed him in Finding Forrester as Steven Sanderson. He was in All the Pretty Horses. He was Matt Damon / Will Hunting uncredited in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Ocean's 11, 12, and 13, The Majestic. He was on an episode of Will and Grace. Obviously, the Bourne films. He was the PR exec number 2 in Jersey Girl.
Him and Kevin Smith and, Ben Affleck. So
you talk about a bad movie. There you go, right there. I don't know what's worse, Jersey Girl or Geely.
Geely by far. Jersey Girl was at least tolerable because you had George Carlin in it. He was about the only saving grace for that film.
Yep.
But that's a discussion for another day.
Yes. He was in The Departed as Colin Sullivan. I love The Departed.
That was a great film.
Damn, that was a good movie.
Oh, man.
He was in True Grit in 2010. Most recently, he was in Elysium in 2013. The Zero Theorem 2013. Monuments Men. Coming up, apparently he's got a movie called The Martian this year. The Great Wall is in pre-production, and then obviously the untitled Bourne sequel, which is supposed to be next year.
So you got it back from Jeremy Renner, huh? Decided that Jeremy Renner couldn't pull it off.
He can pull off Hawkeye. He can't pull off a Bourne agent.
No.
I got 20 minutes into the Bourne Legacy, and I couldn't. I wanted my $1.20 back from Redbox.
Oh, God.
Seriously, it was horrible. For Gretchen Mol, 3:10 to Yuma. She's on, from 2010 to 2014, she was on Boardwalk Empire. Let's see here. Life on Mars, 2008, 2009.
Oh my God! There is a scene in Life on Mars which she is. They're like the guy who's in the movie, who's in the show. He's dreaming, and he's dreaming that he's getting ready to have sex with her, and she's got her top completely unbuttoned, and she's still wearing her shirt. But just that scene, I was like, ah, yes, 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 yes.
You know what her debut was? She was girl number 12 in Girl 6.
Hey,
let's see. She was in Music from Another Room. She was an uncredited reporter in 1998's Godzilla. She was in Bleach in 98. She was in Cradle Will Rock, The 13th Floor.
I can't let go Notorious Betty Page, because she played Betty Page and did a wonderful job at that. If you ever want to see her topless, that's probably one of the best places to see it.
So most recently, apparently, she has completed Anesthesia for this year. So there's that. I liked her in this movie, in Rounders. I thought she was a really, really good actress. I'm gonna have to look at some of her other stuff.
Yeah.
So Mr. Malkovich here, he's had a long and storied career.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, the man has had such. He debuted as an actor, as an uncredited wedding guest in A Wedding in '78. Let's see, The Killing Fields in '84, American Playhouse TV series '84 to '86. He was in Con Air. He was in The Man in the Iron Mask. He played Athos in that. Oh my God, that's right. I remember that now.
And Cyrus the Virus in Con Air. I won't forget that.
He was in the TV miniseries for Napoleon in 2002. He was in Johnny English. He was in Being John Malkovich, which I still have never seen to this day. He was in Red.
Oh, I loved him in the Red movies. Something about those films. Yeah, something about those films. And I guess just because it was a bunch of old farts who were, former CIA, KGB, FBI type agents, spy agent type things. And he's in there and he's crazy and he builds bombs. What more do you need from the man?
Yeah, true. Let's see here. John Turturro. Sadly, John Turturro has had a career that involves him being, oh my God, the four main films that IMDb lists as his most known for. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou from 2000.
Yeah.
2011's Dark of the Moon, and no kids, it has nothing to do with Pink Floyd. And Transformers 2007. After that, it's Barton Fink from 91.
Yeah.
John Turturro is one of those actors where I've seen him in so many things, but I don't always, I never used to really remember him. I'm not saying that the man is not memorable, but I'm just saying that it's like, oh, it's that guy. He got his debut as the man at Webster Hall Table, uncredited, in Raging Bull in 1980.
Okay.
He was on Miami Vice for an episode. He was in Desperately Seeking Susan. He was in, let's see here.
He was in Gung Ho with Michael Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, he actually has had a lot that I'm seeing, and I'm like, Jesus. Jungle Fever, Do the Right Thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, the reason why I said that Howard Cosell was in Rounders is because Turturro actually played Howard Cosell on Monday Night Mayhem, which is a TNT TV movie in 2002. I mean, no.
No, I see it now.
Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Oh my God. If you know what Howard Cosell was like, watching this movie and seeing Turturro as Cosell, you would have thought that it was Howard Cosell.
Oh, Jesus.
He does such an amazing job. He was in Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler.
You know, I'm not seeing it here. I'm looking, and I keep looking for it. Maybe I'm not looking in the right spot. Oh, there it is. 98. My favorite role with him in it. Jesus Quintana in The Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah, The Big Lebowski. That's right.
When he's carrying his bowling ball, and he's doing the whole thing, and he's rubbing the ball between his nuts. And then he goes to the other guys, and he goes, "You know what? I'm going to fuck you in the ass." Best lines I've ever heard from John Turturro.
I gotta say, I think my favorite performance from him outside of the Monday Night Mayhem at this point is Francesco Bernoulli in Cars 2.
Yes.
Francesco is triple speed.
Yes. My wife actually picked up on that before I did, and it was part of it. I think I was just trying to watch Cars 2 and just, try to get the story first, and I'm hearing all these other voices, and I just was like, okay, whatever. Don't get me wrong, I think that John's great, and he does a great voice, but I missed it. My wife picked it up, and I got it. I didn't.
So I think the last one we're going to bring up here is Mr. Fight Club of American History X himself, Edward Norton. As I said earlier, he was the Incredible Hulk at one point or another. Thank God that didn't last.
I thought he was better than Ang Lee's, whoever it was, Eric
Bana.
Yeah.
So far, Ruffalo has them all beat.
Yeah.
The only one Ruffalo does not have beat is obviously Lou Ferrigno, but when it comes to the actual film Hulk versions, Ruffalo has them all beat.
Yeah.
So Edward Norton debuted, credited as Ed Norton in Only in America, which is a video, in 1994.
Oh.
He was Aaron in Primal Fear in 1996. I remember seeing that in the theaters. Yes, I know it was rated R. I don't care.
Okay.
You've never seen Primal Fear?
I don't think I have. I may have picked it up like one night on like TNT or something like that when they were running it. I honestly don't remember it.
It's Richard Gere, Laura Linney, John Mahoney, Alfred Woodard, Francis McDormand, Edward Norton, Terry O'Quinn. An altar boy is accused of murdering a priest, and the truth is buried several layers deep. That's just the mini synopsis IMDb has for it. He was in The Score. He was in Keeping the Faith. Obviously, Fight Club. And the funny thing is, and I know people are going to kill me for this, I have never seen Fight Club.
Oh, wow. This is almost as bad as you not having seen The Lost Boys.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just certain movies I just don't care. Obviously, we talked about over on Talkin Bout My Generation. He was in The Italian Job as Steve. More recently, as of last year, he was in Grand Budapest Hotel. He was Reverend Elijah Hooper on The Simpsons from 2000 to 2013. Apparently, currently he is filming Sausage Party, which is supposed to come out next year, which apparently is some sort of animated movie since it says he's going to be playing the voice of Sammy Bagel Jr.
Oh, Jesus.
I have no idea what that is.
I don't know, but I am going to bring up that for anybody who has not seen Birdman, he plays an excellent role in Birdman. Go watch it. It's worth it.
I've heard that movie is crap.
It can go either way. I will say that because you have to have a certain mindset in order to watch it.
Okay.
That enough said. We'll just leave it at that.
I'm just saying there are several people that I know and talk to that absolutely hate that movie. I mean, there are people that I know and talk to that say, "Oh my God, the Academy Awards are just completely horrible now."
Yeah.
giving that Best Picture. We obviously cannot go through all of Martin Landau's filmography. I mean, the man did a ton of stuff. He debuted in the TV series The Goldbergs in 1953.
This has nothing to do with the 80s Goldbergs, folks.
No, this has nothing to do with the 80s Goldbergs at all. He was on Maverick, the TV series. He was on, let's see here. Oh. He was on The Twilight Zone for a couple of episodes. Actually, he was on there for almost 5 years, 1959 to 64. Go ahead.
I was just noticing North by Northwest. Excellent film.
Mm-hmm. Man from U.N.C.L.E. in 66. Mission Impossible as Roland Hand, 66 to 69. Space 1999. His very last role, because wait, what? He's still alive?
Yeah. I know. I'm shocked.
I thought he passed away already.
I know. I thought
everybody else has passed away. So
yeah.
All right. So apparently, recently, since 2011, he was the great Raymondo on The Simpsons. He was in Dark Horse TV movie.
Oh my God, Frankenweenie. He was the voice of the science guy who was helping Victor.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
J. Howard Marshall in the Anna Nicole movie from 2 years ago. In post-production, he has Without Ward. It's supposed to come out this year, I guess. He has pre-production on A Fighting Chance 2014. So there is that. I mean, these actors, this cast, you always hear about, oh, well, this person was originally supposed to be cast here and blah, 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 and whatever else. And sometimes I just don't see it. I'm glad that, that the cast that's there was there.
Oh, yeah. This was a very, very solid cast, and I was really surprised at how, I honestly, I kind of sit here and look at this and go, how did these guys get these actors to come in and do this film? Because I'm sure that it was not it was a low budget film in a sense. How the hell did they get them to agree to this? These are great actors.
So the only other one I kind of want to bring up here is Famke Janssen. Did you know she was a character on one episode of Melrose Place in '94?
No.
She played Diane Adamson. I do not remember the character at all. She debuted as an actress in Fathers and Sons in 1992. She was on Star Trek The Next Generation in an episode in 1992. She was Kamala in the episode The Perfect Mate. Let's see. Obviously, we already mentioned Zinnia Onatopp in GoldenEye. She was in Monument Ave. She was in Deep Rising. She was in Adventures of Sebastian Cole, The Faculty, House on Haunted Hill, Love and Sex, and then after that she was in 2 or 3 episodes of Ally McBeal, 2000 and 2001. Obviously Jean Grey in the X-Men movies, as we already said. She was in Don't Say a Word in 2001. She was on Nip Tuck from 2004 to 2010. She was in Taken 2. She was in Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunter. Why?
Well, okay, she was the best thing about that film. She looked pretty hot in that one, but I mean that was, like I said, the best thing. Jeremy Renner could not save that film either.
She is currently 2013 and 2015, she was Olivia Godfrey on Hemlock Grove. In production, she's got Jack of the Red Hearts in post-production, Kickback in pre-production, and New Amsterdam in pre-production. New Amsterdam is supposed to come out next year. Overall, a really solid cast. Absolutely love it. I love the plot of the movie, because it's not like 1998. I never saw a lot of these kinds of movies that focused on this specific subject. I mean, since then, I've seen a million of them.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. The sad thing is the only other one I can think of off the top of my head is 21 with Spacey and Fishburne.
Yeah, but even then, that was
Blackjack.
Yeah, well, and it was more glitz and glamour of Vegas and Atlantic City than this was. This was more the back room, underground card rooms, card clubs of the just the average Joes playing, and the guys who actually knew what the hell that they were doing. These aren't the guys that are out there doing the World Series of Poker because they don't want to be known like that. That's the feeling I got from this film.
So that's why it was brought up in the film. Looking at some trivia for this movie. Matt Damon and Edward Norton played in the $10,000 buy-in Texas Hold'em Championship event at the 1998 World Series of Poker in Las Vegas. During the first of 4 days, Matt Damon had pocket kings and was knocked out by former world champion and poker legend Doyle Brunson, who held pocket aces. So that's why he brought it up in the movie.
Yeah.
On the DVD commentary, it is revealed that Edward Norton ad-libbed a number of Worms lines. Among them was, "She crossed her legs too fast," which is a quote from Chinatown in 1974.
Oh, I heard that line. I just started laughing. I'm like, oh, God. That sounds like something he would say.
According to a Howard Stern interview, the film is partially based on comedian actor Norm Macdonald. I don't know how the hell that fits in, but okay.
I'm afraid if it's based on Norm Macdonald, because what the hell has he been doing?
Yeah. Despite the rise in No Limit Texas Hold'em Poker interest in conjunction with this film's release, the characters play a wide variety of poker variants. No Limit Hold'em is played with Teddy KGB at the beginning and end of the film. The judge's game is a 7-card stud game. The college boys are playing stud variants, notably Chicago. When Worm and Mike go to the Chesterfield the first time, the game is forced rotation, alternating hands of Hold'em, Omaha, Raz, stud and stud usually. Worm plays 7-card stud later at the Chesterfield, and the Taj Mahal game is Limit Hold'em. The Union game is draw or stud game. Mike plays draw or stud. It appears in the short scene with the Greeks in the Cigar Club game is 7-card stud. High-low. And the Golf Pro game is pot, limit, Omaha, stud. So pretty much at this point they're just playing poker. It's not even No Limit. It's not even No Limit Texas Hold'em. So the only time they really ever use this game is in the beginning and end of the movie.
Okay.
That's crazy. 2 crucial scenes involve head-to-head poker games between Matt Damon and John Malkovich. Damon and Malkovich would each later play the character Tom Ripley in The Talented Mr. Ripley and Ripley's Game in 2002, respectively. The chip used in both KGB's Place and the Chesterfield Club were made by American Standard Molding, which makes custom chips for casinos and home games. Rounders was set in New York City, but all of the law school scenes were filmed in and around Rutgers Law School in Newark, New Jersey. So yeah, I mean, it is a very interesting movie. It's a very fun movie. I absolutely love it. I think it's just one of those movies that you can just kind of sit down. I don't want to say it's a turn your brain off movie, because you do kind of have to think and kind of pay attention to the whole story, but it's a nice movie where you can escape into the world of this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And everything he has to go through to, I mean, technically KGB is his arch enemy. If you really want to, put your finger on it. I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast that this is a movie that does not need a sequel.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up, please.
This is not cited, This is not cited. It even says this section, needs clarification for a reliable source. But according to Wikipedia, when asked in various interviews about the possibility of a sequel, Matt Damon stated that there could be a chance for that to happen, and according to him, Norton, Malkovich, and himself would like to reprise their roles. Miramax Studios made a list of films which would be getting sequels, with Rounders 2 on it, and originally it was slated for release in 2012. However, as of this year, no sequel has been made, and there is no news regarding Rounders 2.
I don't think it needs to be made.
We do not need a second film for this. We just don't. I mean,
the only thing I think that we could have, and I don't really think it would even be a good story, would be having something which has nothing to do with Matt Damon, Malkovich, and Michael Rospoli and all them, and having it focus on Edward Norton's character. But even then, what do you do? The guy just keeps, he keeps screwing up and he's running. So, okay, he hits rock bottom and then gets killed? Because he hit rock bottom in this movie and he still didn't learn. No. Don't. Just leave it alone.
Now, you take something like 21. That is a movie that could use I'm not saying it needs a sequel, but it's a movie that a sequel could be possible for how they ended that film.
Oh, yeah.
But this movie, it's the journey of Mike and Worm, and Mike is obviously on the path to success, and Worm's just going to end up in a gutter somewhere. But it's one of those things where it had a beginning, middle, and end. There's nothing in here to ever suggest that these characters could come back.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't.
Yeah, they really shouldn't.
There are just some movies out there, folks, that do not need sequels or multiple sequels after the fact. Me personally, we haven't had a chance to talk about this here on MWIRE yet, but it's one of those things where they're talking about a Kingsman sequel. I don't think that needs a sequel. Yes
and no. I mean,
just from having, me watch the movie, I'm using that as a current film that's released, that in this day and age, I'm sure, because Kingsman came from the comics, I'm sure you could make a crap ton of sequels and they'll all be as great as the first one. I'm just saying, from 1998 to today in 2015, Rounders and Kingsman, in my personal opinion, are movies that don't need sequels. What's another movie? The Breakfast Club. Never should ever have a sequel. St. Elmo's Fire should never, ever have a sequel. It's just one of those things. There are certain movies out there that do not need sequels.
And some people just haven't learned.
Nope. So, we're going to take a quick break, come back with final thoughts and ratings after this.
Hello, geeks. Want a podcast that covers a vast array of topics with no rhyme or reason? Then check out Altered Geek Unlimited, where the topics fly more or less off the cuff. We cover media news, TV, our favorite geek products, and of course, your feedback. So get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks every Friday on the Geekcast Radio Network.
Now for a behind-the-scenes look at Geekcast Radio Network's newest show, Talking in Circles.
So, Chuck, Greg, what are you guys thinking for this week's show?
Well, Dan, how about we just talk about the things that we've read or watched this week?
We do reviews like that every week, Chuck. How about a game like Fact or Fiction or The Power of Names?
Those are great, and we're always coming up with new ideas for games. And how about some top fives? You know how I love my top fives.
What about tournament-style brackets, or sequel, reboot, and destroy? Who will win in a fight? Taking it too far? Crazy but true news? Or
yes, it appears we have lots of things to work on.
Listen to Talking in Circles, taking timeless topics in new directions. Every Tuesday on iTunes or GeekCastRadio.com, the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hey, Dan, who's the guy with the creepy voice?
command the jaw bridge. Open!
The Powers of Grayskull series will cover every episode of all 4 Masters of the Universe cartoons. Join Optimus Solo and myself, TFG1 Mike, as we tell tales of Eternia, discover the myths of Etheria, become masters in space, and finally Masters of Grayskull. We'll have a commentary on the Secret of the Sword film, and a few other special episodes. You can find this 125-episode-long podcast in iTunes and on the web at geekcastradio.com. By the power and honor of Grayskull, we all have the power.
Hurry, Skeletor, hurry! I am hurrying, I'm hurrying!
Alright, folks, we are back here on Movie Week in Review, and what would you give Rounders on a 0 to 5 star scale, sir?
I'm probably going to take heat from you for this, but I would probably give it a 3.5 out of 5, only because some of the stuff it seemed like you had to know about poker. You had to understand some of the topic as to what was going on, and some of it was kind of hard to follow for me. Other than that, I thought it was a great film. You know, that the actors were great. The story was pretty well put together. You knew what was going to happen, even though it wasn't telegraphed like some, typical blockbuster movies. It was still a great film coming out of left field.
Mm-hmm. For me, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I wish there was I know guys like Norton's character will never learn, but I just wish that there would have been something here that he kind of learned his lesson, not to show that he's going on the straight and narrow, but I almost wish those cops had beat him up. Not obviously not not Matt Damon's character, but it's just one of those things where I just wish there was a little bit more closure on that character. But overall, 4 out of 5 stars. I really do love this movie. I love the music and the narration from Damon in this. It's just so interesting.
It really was good. I mean, I was more surprised by how smoothly it was. It didn't have the Boston accent, the Boston attitude that he had in Good Will Hunting.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things where we can turn it on and turn it off. I mean, we don't always have to park the car.
Well, and what I mean is that it wasn't this. You didn't get this attitude of, I'm trying to just be this scrape it by kind of guy that he had in Good Will Hunting, that he could do better, but he just didn't want to. A devil may care attitude in a way. This was, I'm going to do it. I know I'm good. I'm going to still go out and kick ass, even though I probably should have stopped at the beginning, and that was kind of the feeling I got from it. It was a lot better than I expected.
Yeah. And I think with Damon, and even Ben Affleck, I mean, once you take the kid out of Boston, and, for me, personally, I've been living in Kentucky almost, 22 years now, off and on. Overall, 22 years. I mean, there was a couple of times where I left from 99 to 2003, but overall, I've lived here since 1993. And, everyone under the sun made fun of the Boston accent I had. For as long as I've lived here, this wasn't what I used to talk like 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I had a much heavier accent. So, with Matt Damon and probably moved out to LA or whatever, it's one of those things where once you live in another place for a long ass time, your accent's going to change because you're going to adapt it to whatever. And that's what I like about Damon. And Affleck to a lesser extent, is that they can go into movies and not have to use their Boston accents. They had that to me is what makes them actors, is that they can find ways around to using their voices that is not just, oh, I'm from Boston, this, that, and the other thing, everything else, so, that to me is really, really well done. What do you got coming up on Talking About My Generation, sir?
I'm sitting here looking at some of the films that I've got, I don't know yet. I'm thinking we may have to do Toy Story, maybe, because I know that this is the 20th anniversary of Toy Story.
Yeah.
I know we've got... I know coming in June, July, we've got Back to the Future, because, come on, it's finally 2015. We have to talk about it.
Yeah.
We have to talk about our hoverboards.
And we still don't have a real hoverboard.
I know.
And that shark still looks fake.
So yeah, we've got stuff coming up on Talking About My Generation. I know that I will be having Beatles Diva, whatever she goes by.
Yeah.
I apologize, Nicole.
Nicole.
Nicole will be on to do an episode about Lost Boys with me. That's a given. I'm just not sure when yet. It's kind of I have to work on when she's available with me.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming. Just kind of keep your ears out, folks, and check it out over at mygenerationpodcast.com.
Yep. And for us, coming up here on MWIRE in episode 119, as a kid, I used to think this movie was amazing. Watching it as an adult, I don't know what to think now, but we're going to cover Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, Dabney Coleman.
Uh-huh.
Dabney Coleman, Henry Thomas. Know. Yeah, I think it's good. It's good. It's definitely an 80s film, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it's a weird 80s film.
Yeah.
It's out there, folks. So that's going to do it for us here on MWIRE. Keep those film reels rolling, and we will catch you next time.
Check.
No picture, I tip you.
I'm laying this down, Teddy. Top 2 pair. It's a monster hand. I'm gonna lay that down. Because you got 2-4, and I'm not gonna draw against a made hand.
Lies down a monster. Should have paid me off on that. The fuck did you lay that down?
Not hungry?
Mr. Son of a bitch, let's play some cards.
The rule is this. You spot a man's tell, you don't say a fucking word. I finally spotted KGB's, and usually I'd have let him go on chewing those Oreos till he was dead broke. But I don't have that kind of time. I've only got till morning. Not even Teddy KGB's immune to getting a little rattled.
Enough is enough, Teddy. Finish the fucking kid off.
Hanging around. Kid's got alligator blood. Can't get rid of him.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm double the blind.
Okay. I call.
Check.
$2,000.
All right, I'll call the $2,000. I'll gamble. Don't splash the pot.
You're on a draw, Mike? Go away. This one is not good for you. And in my club, I will splash the pot whenever the fuck I please.
Okay. I'm gonna check, Daddy.
That's right. Big Daddy. Bits. The pot.
It's 4,400. All right, I'm gonna call you, or else I won't respect myself tomorrow morning.
Respect is all you have left in the morning. Last card coming.
Check.
It hurts, doesn't it? You can't believe what fell. All your dreams, dust. Hops down the fucking drain. Your fate is sitting right beside you. That ace could not have helped you. I bet it all.
You're right, Daddy. The ace didn't help me. I flopped the nut straight.
Motherfucker! You fool your nut! Motherfucker! That is it!
That's it. What the fuck you talking about? That's it. Take him down, Daddy.
Yet! No more! No, not tonight! This son of bitch all night, he chick. He trapped me!
Well, you feeling satisfied now, Teddy? Because I can go on busting you up all night.
Niet. He beat me. Straight up. Pay him. Pay that man his money.
You've just listened to Movie Week in Review on GeekCastRadio.com. If you would like to leave feedback on the show, there are many ways to do so. First, you can visit the website, GeekCastRadio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. Be sure to rate our show on iTunes and leave us feedback. You can follow us on Twitter at GCRN MWIRE. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can email us at feedback@geekcastradio.com. Call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. So until next time, unleash the geek in you.
In a world, there, I said it, happy